Picture this. No alarm clock, no boss, no meetings, no deadline. You open your eyes when your body decides it's time, not when a clock tells you to. For the vast majority of the time humans have existed on this planet, that wasn't a fantasy. That was simply Tuesday. Right now, the average person will spend around 90,000 hours of their life working. That's roughly a third of every waking hour you'll ever have handed over to a job. But zoom out across the roughly 300,000 years modern humans have existed, and jobs are a blink of an eye invention. No wages, no managers, no resumes. So what filled the hours instead? In the 1960s, anthropologist Richard Lee spent time observing the hoansi people of the Kalahari, one of the last groups on Earth still living close to how our ancestors did before farming took over. What he documented surprised almost everyone. Adults spent about 15 to 20 hours a week gathering food. Not 40, not 60. Later researchers found nearly identical numbers among the Hadza of Tanzania and the Aché of Paraguay, oceans apart, yet living the same rhythm. Skeptical that modern foragers reflect ancient life, the bones settle it. Compare skeletons of early farmers to hunter-gatherers before them, and the farmers are shorter, cavity-ridden, and marked by joint damage. The hunter-gatherers were taller, healthier, and showed far less strain. Whatever filled their time, it wasn't grinding, repetitive toil. Then there's the art. Deep inside Chauvet Cave in France, someone spent hours by firelight painting lions and horses with shading and motion nearly 30,000 years ago. Not to survive, but because it mattered to them. In South Africa, people drilled tiny holes into seashells carried from a coastline miles away, just to string them into jewelry. In Germany, someone carved a flute from a vulture bone with 5 perfectly spaced holes, understanding music well enough to tune it. None of that happens in a life consumed by survival. So picture an actual day. Dawn breaks, the fire from the night before gets fed. Breakfast is whatever's left, shared while people talk and loosely plan. Maybe a small group heads out to hunt, but not every day. If food is already stored, nobody has to. Instead, someone might repair a tool, soften a hide, or braid a basket. There's no clock pushing them. Skill earns respect, not a paycheck. If a hunt happens, it isn't a sprint. Humans chase prey for hours at a steady pace, cooling by sweat while the animal overheats, until it simply gives up. A few hours later, everyone eats, and the productive part of the day is essentially finished by early afternoon. What follows is the part modern life has almost erased. Hours of nothing urgent, resting in shade, playing with kids, grooming each other, making jewelry, napping. Researcher James Sussman found the hoansi spend close to 6 hours a day simply being together. Because in a world with no money and no contracts, your relationships were your safety net. At night, something shifts further. Anthropologist Polly Wiesner studied campfire conversations and found that daytime talk was practical, tracking, food, minor disputes. But after dark, the vast majority of conversation turned into story. Myths, legends, jokes, tales from distant relatives. That, many argue, is where human imagination and culture truly took shape. Sleep wasn't even one continuous block. Before artificial light, people commonly slept in 2 segments, waking for an hour or 2 in the dark between them, simply resting in thought. Then, about 10,000 years ago, farming arrived and everything reversed. Agriculture could feed more people, so populations grew. And once they grew, there was no return to foraging enough land for everyone. Farming meant plowing, weeding, storing, and defending crops. Far more labor for often worse health. But it built surpluses, and surpluses built specialists, then soldiers, then rulers, then the very notion that your hours belong to someone else in exchange for survival. Today, you measure your worth in output. They woke up already whole, with nothing to prove. You chase an idea of success invented by a system. They lived, most days, already free. Now here's a question for you. If your ancestors worked just 15 hours a week and still called that a full life, what does that say about the 40 we call normal today? Let me know in the comments below. If you found this interesting, hit like and subscribe. I'll see you in the next one.